Sorry, Sherry, we can't hear you. We can't hear you, Sherry. No. Maybe you could log out and log back in, possibly. Okay, I'll start. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for attending. My name is Eamon Flahat. I'm the Superintendent of Education with the Halton District School Board. We are grateful that you are able to join us this evening. We have a number of committee members here with us this evening, and our chair, one of our co-chairs, Sherry White, who is going to hopefully, we're having some technical difficulties with her from her end, but hopefully that'll be resolved. And we just wanted to welcome everyone. We have an agenda, and I'm going to hand it over to Sherry if she's able to resolve that technical difficulty. So she can read the land acknowledgement for us before we start our meeting. You want to go ahead, Sherry? Give it a try. You're on mute.
Can everybody hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, great. Yes, welcome everybody. I was just saying thank you to everybody for joining us for our last PIC meeting for this school year, and to honor the land and territory. Halton, as we know it today, is rich in history and modern traditions of many of the First Nations and the Métis. From the Anishinaabe to the Attawandaron, the Haudenosaunee, and the Métis, these lands surrounding the Great Lakes are steeped in Indigenous history. As we gather today on these treaty lands, we have the responsibility to honor and respect the four directions: land, waters, plants, animals, the ancestors that walked before us, and all the wonderful elements of creation that exist. We would like to acknowledge and thank the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation for sharing their traditional territory with us. And okay. For the minutes of the last meeting, I don't know if they were sent out. Let me just. Eamon, did you have a copy of the minutes from the last meeting?
No, I did not. We had asked for those. I think you were going to send them to Joanne, our executive assistant, so she can process them. So we can move on to the next topic for sure.
Well, the wonderful conference that we had. It was. I've heard some really great things from some of the parents that have attended, and everybody just loved Jean's keynote address. Dr. Jean Clinton's keynote address was amazing, and yeah, I guess we should talk about. Well, I don't know which subcommittee you want to address first. Is Zena on the call with us tonight?
Unfortunately, I don't see Zena on the call. Zena was our conference chair for those of you who are joining us this evening. I just wanted to maybe give a little bit of a description what took place on April 29th. We had an incredible conference, even during a very rainy day. We had over 850 people register for the conference, and over 400 parents showed up on that day. We had over 125 student volunteers and over 100 community members that came to present to parents in terms of community tables. And then we had 75 workshops that went on throughout the day with numerous community members, staff from the Halton District School Board, and many of our partners that came in and did workshops for parents on topics that were relevant to parents. A lot of the information that we're talking about is on our website, including the keynote address that was by Dr. Jean Clinton. I believe that's been now posted on our PIC website. So if families were not able to make it and they want to review that keynote speech that was made by Dr. Jean Clinton, she was absolutely phenomenal. The feedback that we got from the conference was just spectacular in terms of what went on that day, the workshops. If anything, um, some of the parents said, I feel awful that I cannot attend all these workshops because there's so many workshops that I want to attend and I can't go to all of them. And there's so much choice. It's amazing, but I wish I can go to more workshops. And that was the feedback that some parents, gave in terms of the only criticism that I heard about the conference was that there was so many workshops they wanted to attend more. Other than that, the feedback was just spectacular in terms of what parents said. We also have the two chairs of the committee that was involved in the PD joining us here tonight as well. We have the also the chairs of the committee that looked after all the food and the venue and booking. We also have the vice principal, Louisa Botello, who's here with us this evening, who organized all of our volunteers. And I want to also welcome Trustee Zhang here with us today as well. And we also have one of our parent PIC community members here with us tonight as well, who organized all the community tables. I just wanted to make sure that we acknowledge that. And of course, Sherry, our co-chair, who helped navigate a lot of the work around the student volunteers with Louisa. So it was, again, an incredible event. I thought it would be worth noting that, some of the things that took place that day, that parents were really very interested in some of the topics that they connected with in terms of the workshops, because they were about our school system. Some of them were about our learning, reading, how to work with your children at home, mental health and well-being workshops, various workshops that were put on. And we're hoping that all of those parents that are watching tonight that missed the PIC conference, we're so sorry that you weren't able to join that day, because it was phenomenal. That we had a full house, so many people there. Like I said, it was over almost 700 people in attendance in terms of volunteers and community members and parents that day. So we really had a great day. And Sherry, I'll hand it back to you if you wanted to, dive into anything in there for the subcommittee, perhaps Raza, and the others that are here with us tonight, if they want to give a bit of an overview or any feedback or anything about the areas. I see Ali is here. Reem is with us. So perhaps they could, Sherry, you could take them through that. I'll hand that back to you.
Thank you. Yeah, so why don't I think we should sort of discuss the different subcommittees, just to know what worked, what didn't work, or what we may want to do differently, going forward, because obviously this was an annual event pre-COVID, so we'd like it to continue to be an annual event. So if we talk about the workshops offered, Ali, I know that you and sorry, Raza, we're working on that. Would you like to give an update, sort of after now, as to what, how you guys were able to put that all together and get such wonderful workshops?
Sure. I'll try to keep it brief. Myself and Reem were coordinating the group responsible for getting all the workshops together. We worked closely with Jennifer and her team because community members presenting tables, a lot of them were also doing workshops. I'll start off with some feedback. I think for next year, Reem and I were talking about ensuring those people presenting or wishing to present would include their phone numbers on the application form so that we can easily reach out to them, because emails can tend to be slow. And we were still trying to figure out 2 days before the actual conference that certain workshops were being presented. For the workshops themselves, we received nothing but great feedback from the parents. And I want to acknowledge Louisa and her team of volunteers, and Sherry, your volunteers as well, for providing us classrooms that were capable of easy and quick access to IT, to sharing presentations, showing presentations. The one question that we had from numerous parents was, can they watch the presentations, watch the workshops later? And we explained that this year they weren't being recorded. However, they could easily reach out to workshop presenters to obtain their presentations if need be. And I'll just leave it at, I'll leave with two comments. The first comment is I think this PIC conference holistically was a tremendous example of how the school community can come together and put on such an amazing conference. And the second thing I'll leave you with is, and I'll turn it over to Reem for comments, is we now have a fantastic list of workshop presenters for all those upcoming amazing program events that our schools will run next year. We have this workshop list that's been vetted by the school board. And so if anyone would like to reach out to Reem or myself to talk about programs or how these workshop presenters can educate and inform your schools, by all means, we're here to help you out. Reem? Thanks, Sherry.
All right, thanks, Ali. Yes, I agree. It was a great conference. It was my first time attending, my first time working in the conference. It was really, really, really informative. Lots of great feedback. Now, feedback from the workshop presenters. Lots of them are very proactive and they want to do more for the community. So I've been getting emails from workshop presenters since since the conference happened, and they want to do more. They don't want to wait, till next year's conference to present or to reach out to parents. So, a lot of brainstorming, a lot of wonderful ideas, lots of workshop presenters are interested in doing more for the community throughout the year, reaching out to more parents because, like Superintendent Ayman said, lots of parents can't make it, couldn't make it. So, so throughout the year, it might make sense to look at, something from a different angle, maybe, have more workshops going on throughout the year rather than just wait for that one conference. So, and yeah, thank you.
Did you guys find or have any feedback from any of the workshops that might not have been well attended? Like I do know, I think with one of them, just because they were the community displays, but the people from the lighthouse, I remember asking them, I think at lunch, how did one of their workshops go? And they did mention that they only had, I think, 2 parents in attendance, but at the same time, not, I mean, obviously they would have liked more people, but they did say that did lend itself to having some really good discussions with those 2 parents, caregivers that happened to be there, of, being able to provide maybe some more personal, information or information catered to them. But it does sound like even with some small numbers, a lot of the workshops were very well attended. And I will say that feedback, just because I saw the entourage leaving, our student trustees, they had one of the a very full room. Apparently, they had one of the most well attended workshops. Apparently, it was like standing room only. When they finished that workshop in the afternoon, so that was very well attended. But since Ali, you did mention about the community displays, Jen, do you have some feedback to give about that?
A lot of this, pardon, I'm sick, so I apologize. My voice is a little raspy. So very much the same as what we've heard about the workshops. It was very well received. One of the comments that similar that the community tables made was that they would like to meet the community at the beginning of the school year, because a lot of the things they offer would be helpful throughout the school year. And as the school year is winding down, parents aren't looking into school related things, they're looking into camps and such. So something more towards the beginning of the year was their feedback. And I know we used to do the annual conference in October, so maybe that's something to look at going forward. And then same thing, like they were just really thrilled about the amount of people that came out, the interaction with parents. They got that one-on-one, which they haven't had in a really long time. So it was all very well received, and people were thrilled to be there. The biggest challenge for us was basically finding those community groups. The email list we had was from 2019, so a lot of people had either moved on or had switched roles or closed down. So, but I think we got a pretty good turnout, and so yeah, I can only see it getting bigger and better for next time. Thanks.
Thank you, Jennifer. It was an amazing turnout, actually. Thank you.
Yeah, it was really great, and it was nice to see so many of the community displays. Having some, just little giveaway things and interactive. I know with Rock it was their heat changing pencils, which a lot of people liked, but a lot of valuable information was able to be shared as well. Laura, are you able to give us an update about the food and refreshments?
Sure. So I served on the catering committee with Lorianne Smith, and actually a few parents stepped up from their school-based pick reps. So I'm sorry I don't remember the last names, but Eric and Arij, and we're really hoping that they join us again next year. So we were a team of 4, and we were all brand new at this, and there were some hiccups, but we actually did sit and debrief as a committee and make a few notes so that like for each of us, we felt like it was a huge learning curve. And so next year, there are definitely some changes that we would like to see based on our learning. So, well, the first thing is we did receive feedback that the food itself was delicious. And we concur that it was delicious. There was a bit of a food, like we were a little short on food for the morning. We did have people arrive and didn't really have anything to offer them apart from a basket of apples. So we definitely want to go a bit like order more for the morning refreshments. I think we're just basing things on history, which of course none of us were there for, but just going with history that maybe people tended to stagger in later in the day. And so we only ordered for 200, and that obviously was not enough for everybody. And so that was a bit unfortunate. And then in the same regard with coffee and tea, we just know that next year we will find a provider where that can just kind of be free flowing all day, something that people can have. It was only available at meal service times, and little things. We ran out of cups and stuff like that. So, I mean, it was a huge learning curve. Lunch was a lot better. There was enough food for everybody. However, one thing that kind of all 4 of us agreed on is we definitely need like a stronger communication and assignment of volunteers, because we were finding that there was always a fairly large quantity of student volunteers around the food area. And there were multiple times that we had to ask them to kind of step back so that the conference attendees could get their lunch first. And so that was a bit overwhelming at times to know exactly how to navigate that situation. But the short version is there were too many student volunteers in the food area. So we thought kind of problem solving around that, perhaps once the numbers roll in for registration, we can we can say like, okay, each committee, how many student volunteers do you require? And then specifically assign student volunteers, because I mean, there were times when we had 20 or more student volunteers in that area. And I think reasonably we could have, like, it would have been great to have 4 or 5 for the day assigned to the food area. And that would have been actually more than enough. And then this was a really good suggestion actually by Eric. So I know there was a little bit of swag, and he had a great swag idea. And he thought it would be great just to solve the like bring your own like travel mug with you if we actually got like a tin cup with the PIC logo on it as swag instead of or in addition to, depending on funding. I know there was a little bit of swag in a bag and that sort of thing, but then people would have their reusable mug, so we wouldn't, you know, we'd be taking an environmental approach to it. But we also, you know, we're not going to run out of mugs if everybody has their own. So it kind of like hit both things. I'm just looking at my notes because we did meet and I don't want to miss something someone said. The other thing was to order just a little bit extra of the special dietary needs, because inevitably what happens is it especially happened with the gourmet sandwiches. Some of the ones that were special dietary needs were very appetizing. So perhaps they went to people without that need. And then there were a few people who missed out on getting their dietary specialty, whether it was halal or vegan. Maybe they were looking for a vegan sandwich or something and they were all gone. So just remembering with those special ones, if maybe just order, you know, half dozen more of whatever the product is. And also as people are going towards their lunches, maybe ask them to take what they ordered, some sort of reminder. And then Eric also had the suggestion, because he's helped with things in the past, that we can probably solve the coffee and tea issue by going directly to Tim Hortons corporate. So we just went to local stores, but he said corporate often will just give you what you need for the day and make sure that you have what you need. And that was a lot, but that's kind of what we talked about so far. We felt like we all learned a lot. So, you know, if we're all back next year, rather than making other people go on a learning curve, that we would possibly consider serving on the same subcommittee again, so that we can take all this feedback and then, you know, just tweak it for next year, because now we all feel like we've just learned so much. I've never done anything like that in my life. So I definitely learned a lot about serving that many people food. I think the most people I've ever served food to in my home is maybe 30, and it was probably a hot dog roast. So not too complicated.
Well, thank you very much, Laura. It was amazing. I know we had over 700 lunches that all went. We had like 0 food waste. I've never heard that before, which was amazing. So 700 lunches that were ordered all went to a good place with our between our volunteers and of course our parents that came. One of the other things I wanted to add is Laura had an idea around environmental pieces, and she asked that a QR code be generated and put throughout the entire conference area for parents to access the agenda. And I saw multiple parents using that QR code to access the agenda on their mobile devices. And people actually commented on that. And I thought that was something I should share, because that was something that came from Laura. She was focusing on environmental impact for the day.
The only thing I will add with the food, and it was, I mean, this conference was a huge learning curve for all of us. I mean, I've done them in the past, but in terms of just the sheer numbers, you know, we've always had more people register than show up. So it was always hard to anticipate how many people were going to show up or how much food we would need. So this was just the fact that like almost as many people that actually registered did show up was a little overwhelming. But in terms of the just the food and things, I think some better signage for just for either what the food was or what was in it, and or for those of us that weren't on the committee, because I did end up getting a lot of questions if people said, oh, is this available or is that available or what's in this, and I didn't know. Or people would ask, oh, are these wraps that are here, is this halal or not, and I didn't know. So just maybe something that just so anybody sort of walking by might be able to notice on a sign what is or isn't, just so it avoids some of those questions. And yes, and like I said, I didn't expect even as many volunteers to show up that did end up showing up, because we had more that didn't RSVP, but came anyway, which was great. But yes, when you've got a bunch of teenagers hanging out, and especially those that are used to sitting in that cafeteria area, and realizing too that maybe we should have ordered more pizzas for them, but but again, we didn't know how many were going to show up until they actually.
It was incredible on a Saturday, on a very rainy Saturday. We had over 125 students come in to help out throughout the whole conference. Like, I was so proud of that. Was probably my favorite part of the day. I'll be honest, when we took the picture with all the students, I still have this photo on my phone. When we had all the student volunteers sitting in the bleachers and we took that photo. And I'm thinking, on a Saturday morning, students wanted to come in and help on a rainy day. And I thought that was extraordinary. Over 125 of them that came in. And so big thanks to Louisa. I know, Louisa, you might want to add something as well. So.
No, I'm okay. Thank you. Just like you, I'm very proud of them showing up. That was great. Thank you.
And even to Louise, I just want to say, I mean, knowing how many of the students were from the school, and then it wasn't, I think, until the day of the conference that I realized that your school only is 9s and 10s right now. So I had just assumed, oh, a high school opened, it is a full high school. And I didn't realize that it was only, 2 years of students there. So to really know that, your community right now is one of the kids are really involved and they want to participate in things. I mean, we did have some students from far away boards, I want to say, just in the sense that maybe their parents are employees of the Halton District School Board, so they tagged along with their parents and volunteered. I mean, we did have one from Hamilton Wentworth Board, from North York at Don Mills Collegiate, and I think Waterloo. But it was just really nice to see actually all the teens that were there. And yes, even when we took the picture, I remember counting the black shirts, sitting in the bleachers. And even at that point, I think there was 95 of them, because some of them did have to leave a little bit early before that picture was taken. But 95 volunteer shirts were sitting there for the pictures, which was really great. To see. But I think too, just knowing, a lot of when we had put out the form, for the volunteers or with the registration, some of the parents were emailing back. So we did have some student emails, we had some parent emails, and then just trying to get the confirmation was a little bit, tricky, and not knowing if emails responses were going through or not. So a live and learn for next time, just having an easier way to follow up with some of those students, especially those that, aren't from the hosting school.
If I may add, Sherry, I just to acknowledge the students, we said they showed up on the Saturday, but what I forgot to say was that they were also there on Friday.
Yeah, there were a lot out there
After
on the Friday
school,
too.
For almost 3 hours, helping us set up all the tables and the classrooms and the workshop areas. They were just phenomenal. And these are grade 9 and 10 students at LC McGill. If any of your parents are listening, they should be extremely proud of all of you. We were just so impressed with the students at LC McGill. Just amazing. And then of course the other volunteers that came in from other schools the next day. So grateful for that. Just trying to track the time, Sherry.
Yep.
If there's anything else, I just saw that Zaina is she joined the call. Not sure, she's our conference chair. So incredibly grateful to Zaina for all the work that she did in leading a lot of this work. Wondered if Zaina, if you wanted to say anything, if you're still on the line with us, please have that minute to go ahead and say something if you would like to. You did an amazing job being the chair of our conference, and we thank you for putting things together and making things move forward on that day.
And especially with the child minding too, because that Zina's queen of the child minding.
And I'm not sure if you all saw the video that was taken of the conference during the conference. And it was a post video of the conference that's been circulated on social media. Zaina is a star in that video for us over there to promote PIC for next year, hopefully.
Thank you so much, Ayman. Thank you, Sherry. Yeah, actually, the conference was just fantastic. To be honest, it was just amazing. All the parent was enjoying, like the feedback. Maybe I will be biased a little bit because I'm already with the PIC for so many years. But to be honest, there's so many parents just to stand and just to stop me while I'm walking on the way and say, thank you for this conference. It is just amazing. We need more of that. It is well organized. The food is very good. The speaker is amazing. There's so many information here and there. The community display. There was actually, I didn't see any complaint from anyone who's attending. That's make me little, like, to be honest, to be proud that it was a really successful conference that give us the encouragement to do it again and again, because really the community, they deserve it. And as long as they need it and they appreciate it, then we can do more and more. Regarding the child minding, actually, there was so many EIs, so many ECE. The kids was amazing. Everything is working smoothly. The only maybe things that we didn't consider that there's so many registered children that they didn't come. So we appreciate in the future that the parents who register, just to let us know that they will not show up so that we can give that spot to others. But even though there is so many kids, they are coming and we just say, yes, we have spot, please jump in and check in, and their names is there. And we ask for any allergies, for anything. Actually, it was just amazing. The child minding also, the all the games, the game board, everything. And at the end, it was in the gym and all the kids was enjoying. The food also was good for the kids. And it was, like according to the Canada guideline for all the food, including the veggies and the fruits and also some of the protein, and that which was in the pizza, pepperoni and cheese. So yeah, actually it was good experience again and again. And I will appreciate, and also I want to thank everyone from here. As long as I am the chair, who knows, maybe the next year there will be someone else, which I wish, because I already experienced as the subcommittee, as a co-chair and as a chair. So now I will be glad to forward it to someone else. And I think it will be more successful years in the future. And I'm really thankful for every person. I don't want to miss any name, but you guys, the subcommittee, the chair, the co-chair, Sherry, Saud, Ayman, and actually Juan on the background. I really appreciate everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Zaina.
Thank you.
And Trustee Zhang, are you still on the call with us?
Oh, yes.
Sherry, I'll hand that back to you for the trustee. Go ahead,
Yes,
Sherry. Sorry.
Are you able to give your trustee update?
Oh, yes.
Wonderful.
Okay, first, I would like to take this opportunity to thank everyone, the PIC conference organizing committee, the great effort to make the PIC conference possible. I know I heard a lot of very positive feedbacks and new ideas about the conference. Actually, these new ideas we can discuss next year for the next PIC conference, and all these feedbacks and ideas shows a huge recognition from the community. That means it's a very supportive from all the parents and the community like it, and that they appreciate all the committees the efforts to make this conference, because this after the pandemic and a lot of parents, families, and the students experience different challenges, and this time we have this lecture and workshop for the parents share different information, and they told me it's very helpful, and they seek the more opportunities. If we can provide them more opportunities for those information, they will like it. And so congratulations, everyone. I also I agree. This is also for us great. There's a huge learning curve. This is for everyone, for all the new members in the PIC. Also for myself, this is my first time to join the PIC committee. Based on the feedbacks, what I heard and the information I got, I believe this is also for me to learn how to encourage people and invite more people, more parents to share their expertise in the future conference. So this is, I believe, this is also a professional growing opportunity for myself. So it's a great opportunity. So this is the information I'd like to share for the PIC conference. And for the school board, so I would like to share some other information. The first is I like the safety. You know, as a parent myself, the children's safety is most important. And so this is like the traffic or the school zone, the loading zone or the school areas, the safety. This is not only the schools, but there's also the responsibility for parents, the students, and all the volunteers, for example, and the crossing guard, everyone's efforts put together to make all the children safe. So I'd like to take this opportunity to encourage all parents and in the summer break and share some information with their children and to see how to look at the parking lot safety and the traffic light. That's very important, and because I do see some accident happen, and we don't want that to happen. We need to do our all best to prevent that from happening. And this is the school about the safety. Another one, school board recently sent out a notification about some information sessions. These informations, there are 3 sessions of the school board is organizing. One is about LGBTQ, and the other one is about the Black community, and the third one is indigenous. So we encourage all parents, if pick one of the topic you are interested and register, because there are very limited number of seats available. So we encourage parents pick one of them to attend. Okay, the last one I want to update is it is very close to the end of the school year. At this time, I know a lot of parents are planning for the vacations in summer, and we also need to do some planning for the next school year. For example, in September, in the new school year, we will have the school board calendar will post the information about the IB program, iSTEM program, we will have some information sessions. If the parents and the children they are interested to those programs, please don't miss the information sessions and don't miss the registration deadline. Another thing, I got emails these days from some parents. They ask me about the high school uh, optional attendance. So that means that some parents they consider to go to different schools, but this information, which schools, high schools are available, also will be also posted in the new school year. And so the school board has a procedure and there's a strict deadline. So if parents and the students are considering about iSTEM program, IB program, or optional attendance, don't miss the deadlines. So that's all the update. Thank you.
Thank you for your update. I know the safety is very important, especially in light of what happened in Oakville. But it is time. Eamon, do you have your superintendent update?
Well, thank you very much, Sherry. The only thing I wanted to let parents know out there, and hopefully there are some parents with that are in school councils, is the program final report form. It is now available to submit the administrator or office staff. So if you could see if you've called in a speaker, you'd like the school to be reimbursed for that. If you can let your principals, we're also informing them from our end, but they can be reimbursed for up to $750, depending on how many people have done the projects and whatnot. But the schools will be, the funds will be deposited in the generated funds by August 31st into the schools. But they need to submit that form. The deadline is June 1st for schools to submit that. And we've sent out reminders and we'll send out more reminders, but we're just wanting to let people know that that's happened. And also wanted to give an update. The tutoring that's been going on all year with our community organizations, the YMCA, Halton Black Voices, the Canadian Caribbean Association of Halton. We also have the Center for Diverse Learners, and we have Park Lane Tutoring. They've all offered supports for our families throughout the system, and their programs are coming to an end at the end of June. If you have a child that you wanted to, for the last little while to see if they have space availability, especially the YMCA, if you go into our website under tutoring partners and the HDSB, you'll be able to maybe connect with one of those organizations to see if they have a spot for your child. If you wanted to get that last bit of, support before the school year ends, they may have space in some of their programming at this time. And so they've been great partners for us, and they've offered lots of help to our students to close those achievement gaps that are existing. And that's it for my report. This is the last meeting of the year, and I can't thank this team here enough for their commitment to the work, for being there at the conference, for helping organize and plan the conference. These are phenomenal families and parents in our schools that are very committed to just wanting to make a difference. So I can't thank this committee enough for the work that they've done this year. And Sherry and Saad, who are co-chairs, thank you very much for your leadership. As you know, next year, we'll be electing new chairs, and then some of them are committee members who left this year will be filling vacant spots. So we'll be sending out information to the areas that are needed. So if we have a vacancy, for example, in Burlington, we will send out a message to all schools in Burlington to say, hey, we need representation for Burlington. Or for Halton Hills, or for Oakville. Wherever we have those spaces, parents will be requested to submit an application. We'll review the application, bring those applications back to the committee, and we'll make our selections based on people's experiences and their desires and their ability to make an impact in our system. And so that we can have a great committee next year. And of course, once we have all the members themselves will elect the new chairs for next year. And I hope some of our incredible people here will step up for those roles, because Sherry and Saad will have been done their term next year, and so then we'll move forward with new people for next year. So thank you very much. Go ahead, Sherry.
Well, it does look like there were a couple of questions.
Oh, please.
Laura had a question about the tutoring.
Yes.
She was asking if it was board funded.
If it was?
Board funded, is it?
Oh, the tutoring programs were funded by the Ministry of Education. They gave us dollars that we were able to support the tutoring organizations to offer tutoring supports. And these were promoted and advertised throughout the entire system.
So Laura, you've got...
Oh, yeah. Just a follow-up, I guess. You said they're still accessible to parents, so there's still some funding remaining?
There may be some spots. I mean, we'd have to call the organizations to see what spaces they have available, and if they have any programs that are currently just starting up or finishing up, because I know some of them were going right until the end of June.
Eamon, was this, you said this was sent out board-wide to parents?
Oh, yes. Okay. Yes, we promoted it throughout. So we had one program running from September to December. We had a program running last summer. And then we had a program that ran from January to March. And then again, we went from March all the way until the end of June. Okay. So those were the different programs. And they were parents were sent out messages. We had promotion on our social media, our websites, and the organizations themselves promoted to their networks out there. They had to be Halton District School Board students that received that tutoring supports.
Okay, that's fantastic to know. Thank you.
Ali, did you have a hand up as well?
No, sorry. I hit the wrong button. Thank you, Sherry.
No problem, just checking. Eamon, I just have a question because my long-running superintendent, Scott Podger-Barrick, announced his retirement, and I was just curious if there was an update as to if a new superintendent has been hired.
At this time, I think they're in the process of doing that right now. I know they were doing interviews, the director, of course, and the trustees and members of the senior team were, we had a lot of interest. This board is incredibly popular throughout the province. We had so many applications for superintendent of education. As you know, we do have one position, and we had so many applicants that applied. I know they were very busy interviewing and going through all that process, but I don't believe that process is completed yet. That will probably be in the coming weeks, Sherry. I would probably, and I don't know, as you know, sometimes they move people around and things like that. So we probably wouldn't know who the person assigned up there until I would suggest towards the middle of June to end of June is probably when they would announce those kinds of things in terms of location. They might announce the promotion, after they finish the process, but they may not necessarily have the assignment exactly of where people are.
Totally understandable. I just didn't know because we had the announcement made like last month. Because I will say that my local trustee Jean Gray, we were able to make a little video for Scott at our last sort of our Halton Hills School Council meeting. So I just, since that was already the beginning of last month, I just didn't know where in the if the hiring process had been completed or not. So I didn't know if that was your update.
They were certainly finishing up that process, and I'm sure that'll happen soon in terms of them being able to announce it and all that.
So I was going to say, I think it was 9 years that Scott was our superintendent for Halton Hills. So
yes, he's an extraordinary leader.
yeah, he was, and he really understood of, you know, we as we say it, we the North, but it he he's got some big shoes to fill, I guess, as they say.
Yeah, yes, indeed. Okay.
But I do want to thank everybody for, you know, all of their help, all the, you know, the parents who have stepped up to volunteer, obviously, you know, whose kids have volunteered, you know, being able to co-chair this committee has been wonderful. It would be great when we are able to have these meetings back in person as well as online. But you know, and Zena, with, you know, having your guidance and your knowledge, not just because you've co-chaired, you know, all of PIC before, but, you know, your experience with the conference, being able to do this conference was awesome. And you know, I'm really jealous of Elsie McGill. That school is brilliantly beautiful, and of course, you know, and I will say to Louisa, you do have some great staff there. Being there later on the Friday night, and of course, you know, Saturday afternoon, I did have a chance to talk to and meet some of your caretaking staff who were so helpful, and really didn't seem to mind the intrusion of all of us, and of course an extra, you know, 700 plus parents and everybody traipsing in. You know, they were really great, about helping us set up and clean up and do everything. So and actually I did have some parents ask me how could they get their kids to go to that school, and you know, you know, Trustee Zhang just mentioned about optional attendance, and you know, it was, you know, they were asking, and of course, right outside the volunteer room was where one of the gentlemen from the board, I can't remember his name right now, but was talking about the STEM programs and the different programs being offered. So one of the first questions I got was, is that program offered at this school? Can our kids come to this school? So it was really great to see. So yes, just if there's any other questions, comments before we wrap up this meeting, then I will say thank you so very much. And I know Saud mentioned that he's in Alaska right now, but I know on behalf of him and myself, I thank you, you know, for this committee, for us being able to offer the parent engagement, and hopefully we'll see everybody next year. And hope all your high school students have a good time with exams. Yes, there's deadlines, I think would be mentioning for summer school. If anybody needs that, that's coming up as well. And kindergarten registration, if you haven't done it yet, please do that. And I hope everybody has an awesome summer, and we'll see you in the fall. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone, for being here.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Have a wonderful evening. Thank you.
On the fall.